because let's be honest, 100 photos of a newborn baby, every single one is adorable.
Every single one's adorable, and I feel like that happens in like 4 days.
Well, exactly, but then they all get to be in this one spot, and then the grandma and the family members can go and ooh and ah over all 100.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Coffee Break with BubbleUp. I'm your host, Wade Sellers, and today we're going to be talking all about parenting and BubbleUp, and I've got a single mom of two, an educational assistant for special needs students, the one, the only, Chelsea Pendak. Good morning, Chelsea. How are you?
Good morning. Cheers. I'm
Cheers
great.
to
How are you
you.
doing?
I'm doing super well. Chelsea, where are you calling in from, and what are you drinking today?
I'm calling from beautiful Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, and I'm just drinking straight cold black coffee.
Cold black coffee, cool. Cheers to you, and I am super excited to talk to you today. We're talking about a topic that, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about, but I know that we have a lot of users that are parents. We're going to talk about parenting, about these digital tools that you have that help organize your life. You know, obviously BubbleUp being one of those. I want to dive into it later, but I'm curious to know how you use us with your kids. But today's just going to be all about talking about parenting and this digital world we live in now.
Yay, I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome. So I guess just to start off with some context here, can you tell us about your kids? What's going on here?
Yeah, I have a 10-and-a-half-year-old, two girls, 10-and-a-half-year-old, and actually my youngest just turned 8 on the 5th, so a couple of days ago.
I mean, I know the world has changed quite a bit, and especially when everybody started coming home for school and distance classrooms, and then people were leaving the office and making their homes offices. Honestly, these digital tools really started to become quite an important part of us getting through days and managing a family, I imagine, right?
Oh, hugely.
So you've got two kids, 10 and 8. You're running your life. You're working from home as well, I imagine? Okay.
Yeah, I was working from home up until June 1st full-time, and then part-time starting from there.
So when it comes to things like these digital tools, what are some of the ones that are like a blessing, and maybe a little bit of how you're using some of them?
Okay, so yeah, so with BubbleUp, when it comes to BubbleUp, one of the biggest things lately that I've been using it for is when school was on, teachers would send tons of paperwork through emails for my kids, and it was super easy to be able to transfer them over to a folder onto BubbleUp. So I'd have their schoolwork that they hadn't got to yet, their schoolwork that they had finished, and then I even had a folder or have a folder where it's their schoolwork that has been sent off to the teachers, because we actually had, with that many emails going back and forth, some things get lost. So I was able to go back in there, find the work that they finished, and resend it off to the teachers, which I'm pretty certain that without that, we would have just been a complete mess.
I love it. In software development, that's like a Kanban board. You had a to-do, doing, and done kind of
it
assembly
makes me
line.
look like I actually have everything together. So it's a blessing.
That's so smart. So then are your kids in the BubbleUp folder as well?
Well, they are, yeah, their work is in there, and they're actually on it with me. They don't have their own accounts, but they work with me on my account. So they know how it works. They know where their work is. It's pretty cool. And I've shown them how to upload too. So when they're on my computer, they can add their work to the folders.
I love that.
Pretty awesome. An 8 and 10-year-old are working with it. So
outside of the classroom, with like any digital tools, are you using anything that is like helping you wrangle the organization of when it comes to parenting?
From everything from my daughters, they're very close, and they've shared a room from pretty much day one, but
Okay.
at their ages now, they're getting a little bit older, and they are at each other a bit more. So we're actually creating a new bedroom for my youngest right now. So even keeping organized with, websites. So I'll be going through and I'll find a link to something that would work in possibly in her room. And I just add it onto the folder, and then I can go through and be like, okay, yeah, that lamp. Oh, that's the same lamp that I found there. Look, it's a different price. And I keep everything in one little folder. Recipes is another one.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest is very picky, so I'm able to keep the recipes that she will actually eat in a folder as well. And I can just go to that and be like, oh yeah, she's eating that this week, so I can
I love it.
I'll make that. Yeah.
I could see her like putting a recipe in there like, hey, by the way, I'd eat this.
I want this. It would be mostly desserts if she was the only one putting the recipes in.
Do you have any tips to other parents, and when it comes to like, you're using these digital tools, so you're definitely using like your computer and your phone to kind of help keep the outside non-digital life organized. Do you have any tips when it comes to maybe how you're choosing these or how you're integrating them when it comes to other parents here?
In this regard, that a lot of teachers have online portfolios for their students, but a lot of teachers don't do that as well. So I would highly recommend for parents that don't have the online portfolios for the kids to use BubbleUp as an online portfolio, because every single time you get your child's work back, instead of trying to keep piles of paper in a bin, you can take a photo of that work and put it in a folder, and you've got your own online portfolio of your child throughout all the grades, and you can keep everything right there.
I love that.
I highly recommend doing that.
That correlates to a lot of people will talk about, they keep track of their receipts the same way. They're like, I don't want to keep track of the paper, but I just snap a picture, share it, shoot it up, and then it's gone.
100%. Yeah. Well, and with kids, you get a lot of, this is even not even school related, a lot of paper accumulates in your home of drawings and artwork, and it would such a shame if they end up in recycling. The kids are gone forever. So what I do is I do take photos of my children's artwork or their schoolwork, and I keep it digitally in folders, and then it's always there, and I can always say, oh no, it's right here, see, mommy kept it.
I love that. Do you invite other family members into it, so they're like kind of like in on, like they can see the vault of art or anything?
Yep, absolutely. My brother, I've got him involved, and he's in a couple of the folders.
Maybe from another perspective, instead of the parenting side, from your children's side, do they use it? Like, do they find things to store in it as well, like outside of school?
Yeah, actually, mostly it's things that they want is how they learned that you can add links really easily. So whenever they're looking, like my daughter's birthday that she just had a couple of days ago, she would be saying to me, oh, mommy, I found something we can add into my folder that I want. So yeah, they definitely have figured that out.
I love that. Let me ask you this. Do you use it for photos, like family photos and like children's photos in there? Or do you kind of keep it as a photo album?
Well, yeah, and it's so great too, because when you have family members that don't get to see your kids as often, and I don't get to see like my brother's kids as often, and he's got an almost 1-year-old and an almost 5-year-old. So, being able to share those photos just with us too, because, there's Facebook and stuff, but there's photos that you might just want a certain amount of people to see. So it's wonderful to be able to do that and just put them all in there. Even the embarrassing ones.
There's even the embarrassing ones. There was even my friend had a baby, and her concern actually, because I was like, hey, here's a thing you can use. Her concern was she didn't want to bombard everybody on social media with all of her baby pics. She didn't want to be the one that's always posting baby pictures, but she wanted to share them out. I was like, well, you can put them in here. You can control who goes in. And now like her family and friends that are close, they all get the gambit of them, but they get it like over here instead of like everybody sees it.
Scrolling through and seeing the 100 photos, because let's be honest, 100 photos of a newborn baby, every single one is adorable.
Every single one's adorable. And I feel like that happens in like 4 days.
Well, exactly. But then they all get to be in this one spot, and then the grandma and the family members can go and ooh and ah over all 100 photos of the little baby.
I love that. Well, Chelsea, I'm super happy that you were able to talk to us. I do have a question. How does someone reach out to you if they want to ask you more parenting questions? How would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm Renourished Soul on Instagram, and feel free to send me a DM. I check them really regularly, and I'd love to hear from you.
Renourished Soul on Instagram. I have the details down in the description below. Chelsea, thank you so much for hopping on and having a conversation with me.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to have you on again.
I look forward to coming back. Thanks, Wade.
You got it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bing.
I love it.